morning and welcome Monday morning quilting quickies here. My name is Marcia and I am from Pine Needles Quilt and Sew in Rochester, Minnesota. And today I'm going to give you some tips and tricks on sewing quickly, sewing a really fun summertime windsock. Isn't that fun? Tons of fun to make these, and it's quicker than you might think. So what we're starting using, you can use whatever you want, of course, but the quickest and fastest thing is 2.5-inch strips. These are called strip rolls. They're called jelly rolls. Some of them are packed in long skinny packages. They're packed many ways. But this one takes 20 2.5-inch strips. So this is a half roll, and this contains 27 pieces. So you'd have a few extra ones. Sometimes they're 22 pieces. This jelly roll is 42. So out of this one, you could make 2 of these, or you could use the other strips for something else. But to make them with jelly rolls is really quite easy. First off, I'm going to show you is a couple of the patterns that we have. Now these are from Fat Quarter Gypsy, and they're great. They're great patterns. She's got several different designs. And when you open up your pattern, I'm going to show you that you have what you get in there. You get your pattern, and this one is a little bit of a different variation of the pattern. The one I'm going to be making today is this one with the straight strips. This one is with the diagonal strips off of this pattern as well. But you get your pattern, and then you get this thing. This is a spring, and later on I'm going to show you how to insert this. You get a little toggle. You see that toggle? And that's to go on top here to keep this from, it turns. So when you hang this up, it keeps everything from not getting all twisted up like that. It keeps it like that. So that's a very important piece. And you also get a little tag to put on your windsock. This, of course, is optional, but I think it adds a little bit of fun to it too. So you can put the tag on and your pattern. So once we have all of those things, you're going to follow the directions. And it tells you to cut your strips in several different things. The tails are 27 inches. These things are 27 inches. And the rest of the pieces from the strips, then I sewed together. This is going to be the top of my windsock. If you want to do it diagonally, then you sew them together diagonally like this. So you're going to have the top of your windsock, and then you're going to have all of these strips. Now, you can sew these together 2 different ways. This one, you can see I used a rolled hem. So I used one strip, and then I used a rolled hem. And what you need for a rolled hem is a rolled hem foot. And most of your sewing machines will have this. Most of them will have a rolled hem foot, and they work marvelously. I don't know if you can really see here, but this is what I did with a rolled hem. And I did one with a little tiny zigzag, and I did one also with a straight stitch. But this just rolls along lickety split. This is very easy to do. So the first one I did with the rolled hems, and it's very nice. This one I'm going to use sewing 2 strips together. This I think adds a little bit, probably a little bit more stability to it. So I have sewn 2 strips together in tubes. And here are the strips, and I just did a 1/4 of an inch seam on each side. And here is what I did to make this quicker. Instead of hemming down the edge here, these are the selvage edges. So I put the selvage edges together, and because these nothing's going to happen to these, and it doesn't matter that it's unfinished at the end, and this is going to be at the bottom of my sock. And then I have a handy dandy tool here. This is a tube turner, and I have had this for years and years and years. And I just keep it in this shoebox thing, but they've got all kinds of things that you can make chiffon turn little tubes of chiffon into spaghetti straps, all the way up to this 2.5-inch tube that we can use for these 2.5-inch strips. But what I want to show you is how quick and easy this works. So now I've had this for like 20 years anyways. I saw a demonstration at the quilt shop that I was going to before I owned my own, and I had to have it. They are a bit pricey, but gosh, they save you a lot of time. So at the top here, you can see that little spring. It's got kind of a little springy thing. You can see that. That we have to twist into the fabric up here at the top. So I just kind of twist it in there, and then I got to have this little thing, and then just kind of twist it around like this, and then you pull this down and through this tube. It could not be easier. It is magic. I love it. And then you simply unscrew that, and you've got them turned really quickly. You didn't have to use a safety pin that comes unlatched on the inside and this and that and the other thing. Also very good for putting elastic in waistbands or any of that kind of stuff. Absolutely love it. So now we have something that looks like this. So now I have this tube turned, and you can see it's just kind of hanging out there. Now, how many of you have tried to press these, take them to your iron, and then twist and twist and twist and lay it down and try and get this? But try as hard as you can. There's always seems to be a little pleat in here. And I had one on this orange one that has this pleat in there. You can see that it's not right up at the edge, and that irritates me when it's not right up at the edge. But you know, you can twist and turn and hold on to your iron. You've only got 2 hands and it doesn't always work. I just discovered this when making this one. You know, when we're pressing our quilt seams, we always say, okay, now we want you to press them flat and then press them to one side. So what I did here, and this worked marvelously, is that I took these two and I opened them up and I softly pressed, so this is all flat on this side, and then also on this side. So this is all flat. So now the seam is open, is pressed open, and then I can go back and press them. They fall into place absolutely perfectly. When you go back, you can see I have them like this. And then when I want to press them, I just put these, I lay this on my iron, and they lay nice and flat where they need to be. It's a pretty cool thing. So press them open like this, then go back and turn this, lay it on your iron, and these fall into place, and you can iron them wonderfully flat, and it really works. So we need 9 of these, and you can see that I did a bunch more of these as well. Then I followed the directions, and I sewed this together as instructed. This is the top of my sock, and then on the back you have ironed on some shape flux. So follow the directions to do that. And then for the inside of the sock, which is inside of here, and you can kind of maybe see, you can't really see, but inside here it looks like this. Follow the directions. For the inside, this is the lining part of the sock for sewing on these hanger ties. Now I'm going to head over to the sewing machine, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew this top of the windsock right sides together, and it's going to have a 1/4 inch seam here. And then I'm going to take, and this is the lining of our windsock with the strings attached, and you can see I have wonder clips on here. You could use smaller ones. I took my smaller ones to the store, and I need to bring them back. So I have the larger ones, but you're going to put these all together. This is on the lining of the sock, And you can see that I have about 1/2 inch on each edge. You want 1/2 inch to 1/4 inch on each edge because you're going to need that for your seam allowance. So I'm going to head over to the sewing machine. I have sewn the top into a tube just like this, and then I have sewn all of these onto the bottom of the lining. And then it asked me to, do you see all those little safety pins? To safety pin each one of these 2.5 inch strips about 2 inches down. You want to put a little safety pin there because that keeps them straight when you start sewing this all together. So that's kind of an important step. I didn't do that before and I had some of them kind of scrooged. So you want to pin about, with a safety pin, about 2 inches down from the top of each one. So I'm going to go to the next step. Now I have sewn the lining piece with a 4/4 inch seam down here. And what we're going to do is take the inside, we're going to leave this with the wrong side facing out. And then I'm going to take this and put him on the inside of here. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to use these clips again, and I'm going to make sure that this all fits inside nicely. And I'll clip it all the way around, and then I'm going to go and I'm going to sew 1/4 inch seam on all of this. We have sewn this together. We have turned the inside back to the inside, and we have the outside here. I've removed all of these pins and pulled this to the bottom, and then we top stitch around the bottom like that, and then we're going to just take it to the iron and we're going to fold in 1/2 inch on each, the inside and the outside. So they'll just fit together up in here, but this is folded in 1/2 inch. That's why we had to have these, don't sew these all the way up. Had to leave it down for 1 inch. So we have this like this. So now we are ready to insert the spring. So we have the spring, and it has these 2 pieces of black tape on here. So I like to keep those to my right and left as I place those down in here. So what we're going to do is we're placing this between the 2 layers. We're placing the spring inside, between the outside, and then this green is our lining. And we're going to push this down as far as we can to the bottom. So I'm pushing it down to the bottom. Okay, so then I'm going to peek in here and I see where my black tape is, and it's here and here. So what we want to do here, so that the spring doesn't come jumping out at us, is I know my black tape is, just double check again. It's right here and here. So that means here, and the exact opposite side, we want to take some bigger safety pins this time. And we're just going to pin those up about 1 inch. Right where that spring is. And very important that this is latched securely. And then I'm going to go on the other side, exactly opposite to that. And I'm going to pin it on this side as well with a large safety pin. Okay, so now we have that secure. And now is kind of a tricky part, is what you're going to go in here and do is on the opposite sides. We know that our black tape is here. You see that? Okay, there it is. I'm going to clip that now. And it will get rid of all this black tape. And it will kind of stretch a little bit. Now we need to go on the other side and find our other one, our other black piece of tape on this side. And there it is. There's the black tape. So again, I'm going to clip that black tape. Get it off. Now we have that, and then the safety pins are holding that in there. If we didn't have those in there, you would not be able to do this. So I'm going to line this up, and I'm going to take this to the sewing machine, and I'm going to sew along, top stitch along the top of this. So you see, I have top stitched along the top here, and when you top stitch, you want to make sure and go through these as well. Go through your strings that hang it up. So we still have our spring down in here. So now we're going to remove, because we essentially have the sock is done. See, wasn't that quick and easy? So I'm going to remove these safety pins. Now this, sometimes it springs at you really quickly, so be prepared for that, because this is a spring in here, and now we're releasing the two safety pins, and we're going to let it go and shake it out, bring it towards the top. This one didn't spring as bad as some of them I've seen. It almost scared me. So you just keep working it until you get it all nice and taut in here. And the top spring is at the top, and the bottom part of the spring is at the bottom. Adds a ton of stability. Works really well. And there you have it. You have your swivel, you have your cute little tag, and you have all of these. And now again, these I left, these are double. The other ones I did were rolled hems. They're both very cute and very lovely. I will recommend that you use a fabric shield. I would hang this up and I would douse it almost totally till it's soaked with fabric shield for the outside to keep it from fading and the elements from hurting it, especially if you're having it in full sun or out on your dock of your where your boat is or whatever. But I totally soak it with this stuff. So this one's kind of fun because they're two-sided. This one has the the wrong side on the other side. Either way, they're absolutely totally fun to do. Now, some of you may be asking about this fabric. This is our Quilt Minnesota fabric. Every year we have an all-state shop hop, and this is this year's fabric, and it has loons and fish and some Minnesota words and things on it as well. And this is the jelly roll that we use. We're going to have kits to make this one, and you may certainly order a kit from the store. However, these can't be released until July 30th. We can mail them to you when the shop hop officially starts. So we're going to have two different ones, and in the kits, I'm going to include everything you need to make, even these 9 little safety pins and the 2 big ones, so that when you get ready to make your sock, you don't have to go hunting for things the way I did. The other one that we can ship out right away is Holly Taylor's, I think it's Lake Views is the name of the fabric. So we're going to kit this one up too, and it has some lovely, it has fish and maps and lures, fly fishing lures, and all sorts of fun fabrics. So this one is a little bit more classical colors. This one's a little brighter. They are both absolutely lovely. So we'll have 2 kits available for this Windsock, the Quilt Minnesota one, and then also the Lake Views one, Holly Taylor by Moda. And this will be half of a jelly roll because you need 20 strips to make the the Windsock. So thank you so much for joining me this morning. It has been a blast. I hope that you'll try your hand in making one of these fun Windsocks. They're fun for you. They're fun for kids. The pattern maker, which is the Quilted Gypsy Quilter, she also has one we have in the store as well. And this one has some applique tops. So you can also make festive Windsocks for the season if you want to. We have everything you need to make these at the shop, in our online shop. We welcome you to shop there or at your favorite quilt store. Absolutely love these. I hope you'll love them too. So until next time, I will keep you in stitches. Hey again, I am just popping in to show you a few more things about this fun Windsock and other things that I have made with these springs. These are made by Fat Gypsy Quilter. Anyways, I've been busy, so they have lots of patterns. So here is a set of baskets. Here is the little mini basket, and I've got my clips inside there. There is also, in the same pattern, the medium basket. So very cute. And then here's the big guy, the large basket. And again, these are all made with the springy springs, just like the Windsock is. And then also here's more fun. Look at this big guy. These are springy containers that you can make. This particular one, I've got the medium, no, this is the large and this is the extra large. But this one I have up at the lake house, and we have some quilts rolled in here next to the TV. So if anybody wants a quilt, we put them in here. And again, these are made with the springs. So packable, travelable. This one too, absolutely fun. And they have ties on them, or you can put an elastic on them. So if you want to put them away for a while, you just wrap this around and you would tie it, and I'm not going to do that here, but all totally collapsible like that. This one I made out of flannel. Totally fun. Absolutely love them. So I just wanted to tell you about some of these extra things. Of course, we have kits. This is the Quilt Minnesota kit, and of course these can't be released until the shop hop starts, but we also made some kits for the Windsock out of Lake Life by Holly Taylor, which is really fun as well. And they have everything you need, including the safety pins to make these, just like I showed you on the Quilting Quickie. And also all the patterns and the extra springs. Here's a little bitty spring. We have all of these on the website available for you, as well as a full array of patterns, including the patterns that we have used. So you want to check those out. And one other thing I want to mention are these. This is the fast turn tube turning set. I use those to turn all the tubes on the Windsock, as I showed you. And then also I used it to turn this guy on the top, this hanger, these tiny, tiny little ones. So then you use a really little bitty tube. And then also for all the handles on the baskets, I was able to use the loop turner. This is a bit of a pricey investment. Like I said, I think these are made of brass. I've had mine for years and years and years, And if you want to quilt quickly, sew quickly, sometimes you just have to invest in some of these tools. Of course, you can use the safety pin and turn them however you want, but I will tell you that this is a great tool to have in your arsenal to make things quick and fast. So that is all about the pop-ups, and I hope you enjoy, and we will see you next time. Thank you so much for joining us on the Quilting Quickies.